How's it going, everyone? It is Monday, May 13th, 2024, and this is the video for today. So let's get into the two picks from yesterday's video. The first was Tesla short, and I'd recommend I first took a PDS. And the second was TSM long on some market caveats. So let's look at the market M5 yesterday first. We had this gap up close to the all-time high, and we broke through that earlier in the day, filled in this gap, and we took Tesla short. I took it somewhere right around here, around 1040, and we had this gap fill, and the market just kind of chopped around and moved up. Couldn't quite get anything past the gap fill, so what started out as a bearish day ended up being a little bit more of an LPT sort of day, but still a bit of a slightly bearish twinge to it. I liked Tesla for the fact that we had tested the 100-day SMA. The stock had rejected it and made a very strong move lower. And I also liked how, and you can see what happened to it, but I liked how we were able to just be pretty weak for most of the day. It wasn't super strong relative to the market, but it didn't really rally up too much to stay below VWAP. And if we look at the D1, here was the setup on Tesla there. I liked how it kind of tested this close, and it looks like it hit, some support, was stalled there a little bit, but nothing I was super worried about. I still liked it. Today it looks like it came back, tested the D1 level right here, and I didn't like this super tall bounce. Was not a fan of this strong move higher. Tells me that there's buyers in this stock, and not as strong, or not as weak, I should say, as I want it to be. It came back and tested this gap fill support all the way up from, May 8th. Pretty powerful move up higher, and now it's making a decent move lower. There's still some selling in here, but especially when the market hasn't been doing too much. So still in this trade, but we are not as bearish as we were before. A small gap up is fine, but I don't like to see these surges higher. That tells me that sellers don't have as much control as I thought they do. So I'm looking to take profits somewhere on Tesla when it gets back over here. If I can scratch out of the trade or take a tiny win, I'm going to do that. For my analysis of debit spreads, when we get a strong contra move against me, they usually will retest this level at some point. So I'm watching for that retest. If we get a weak market tomorrow, then we have a chance to actually break through that level. That's what I'm watching for in Tesla. TSM. I like TSM early in the morning, especially the stock was grinding higher as the market was grinding higher. Unfortunately, the market sort of died on the day, and then TSM didn't really do much at all. Couldn't get through its high of the day and started to sell off and closed the day actually a little bit more weak as it was pulling back intraday. No trade on TSM. By the time the market had found some support and was rallying up, we got a nice 1OP bullish cycle. Over here, TSM was looking pretty weak, and it never gave us any signal to get back into the trade. So TSM was a no trade. So we are short Tesla, the PDS, and we are long GE. Now, GE has been a bit of a problem child. We took the trade in here, and we had a nice D1 chart in our favor. Pretty nice strong trend. Market rally for the past couple of days. GE pulled back, tested this AVWAP E level, as well as the horizontal resistance from right before earnings, right around this high of 158.44. So it's pulled back fairly significantly, about $10, so about 2 ATRs. I want to see this level hold, and I want to see GE bounce off this pretty convincingly. It's clear that this trend has waned from what it was earlier, and there may be a mistake of analysis on my part for the simple fact that this stock has traveled a long distance, so I have to be a little bit more weary of entering on a trade like this because it has traveled a long distance, and you can see the momentum slowing down a little bit here, right? It's not the same momentum as we saw over here. You can see there's a little bit more selling. There's some more red candles coming into play. So not quite the strongest stock in the race, or strongest horse, the strongest quickest, fastest, I don't know, stock of them all. So based on what the market does tomorrow, once we get to the market analysis, I'm going to come back to GE and Tesla so we can contextualize on how we should handle these trades. But we are pretty balanced at the moment. We are one long, one short. What I want to see from GE, like I said before, find some support here, and I want to see this next leg higher. Preserve this trend. Tell me that we are still good. If we don't get that, then we have to close the trade for a loss because it did not do what I wanted to do. And already I'm not quite as bullish as I was before. It has not really shown me any sign that buyers are engaged. I at least thought we would see some cushion in the first couple of days, but we haven't. And that is the first clue in and of itself. This should have some production pretty soon. All right. So let's look at the market so far. Now, longer term, fundamentally, we know that the economic conditions have been changing. They've been a little bit softer. We got some ISM services and contraction. Initial jobless claims was a little bit higher last week. We're going to keep an eye on that for this week. Inflation is still pretty stubborn. Excuse me. GDP came out a lot lighter than expected. So we have some inflation numbers coming out tomorrow. We have PPI, and then we have CPI coming out on Wednesday. And I think that will determine whether we make a new all-time high or if we reject below it. So my bias is that if we get a cooler CPI number, that will prompt the Fed to do some more easing. I think that the chance of a rate cut will go higher. If we have a higher or hotter CPI number, then I think the Fed will kind of be sticky with the rates unless we see some continued economic weakness. Then I think the Fed will have some more pressure to bring the rates down because of recession fear. But even if I'm totally wrong about that, what really matters is the reaction post CPI. And that's really what we care about. So this is a juncture, I think, for the market. And I'm not going to recommend any overnight swings at this point. We are balanced, and that's fine. I think I would favor being balanced or maybe mildly bullish at this point. But don't have too many positions. Don't get too crazy. We want to see really how the market responds to CPI at this critical price level. That's kind of the key difference. It's different when we're in the strong trend, but when we've established this all-time high here and we reject it off, we kind of pull back from it, this becomes a pretty significant point. So I'm watching for a couple of things here. One, let's look at the best case. We'll start with a positive note. We break through this, make a new all-time high, nice long green candle. That would get us pretty bullish. The second thing is we have a kind of neutral or flat reaction from the CPI, and we just kind of compress here and get some tiny candles at the all-time high, don't really go anywhere for the next 3 or 4 days, then I would probably get out of my longs because it tells me that buyers can't really get anything going. We got through some news that could be a price impetus, and we could stall out here and see this next move down. So if we see some compressed candles, some tiny mixed candles here, not really going anywhere for a couple of days, then I'm going to be out of the trades. Go back to the sidelines in cash, focus on day trading, and maybe even take some short-term swings on the notion that we have a double top. The third option is if we get another gap up and bearish engulfing candle. That would be another major warning sign, and we'd look to exit out of our short swings at that moment. So those are the keys for what might happen. Now, based on those three scenarios, we have a pretty balanced portfolio on those. So right now, GE isn't doing great. So if the market tanks tomorrow, we're probably going to have to take the loss on GE, which is okay. That's fine. That's the risk that we accepted on this trade. The flip side here is if we see a sell-off and GE holds this level, that tells us that support is in. And, you know, we potentially could not lose as much as we could. We may even have the chance to see a double top. with this kind of trend strength, we will see some sort of double top before GE falls down. Looks like he was pretty weak. If the market sells off too, I think that Tesla is going to, let's move down already today. I think Tesla is going to tank and probably break through this level, and then we have a pretty clean shot all the way down here to about 163. Quite a bit of support there. I guess maybe around this 162 level. Yeah, somewhere around here. This low 160-ish, 160, 161. Around this level is where there's next level of horizontal support. So that's what I see. On the bearish side, we can make profits. Now, if we break through, then I think GE could do okay. It hasn't shown me it has a lot of strength, but if it really starts to lead the charge up, then that's how I know that support is in, and I feel more confident in staying in the trade. And I think Tesla could probably take some heat. So in either case, we are balanced. All right. Let's look at what is going on today. Well, we had this gap up again, tested the high yesterday, filled in the gap, and now we're just kind of chopping around with a slight bearish trend. So my market bias is a -1. The market strength today was decent. We have some tech strength. Mega cap tech is a little bit weak, but flight to safety, some assets are up, like staples and utilities are up today. VIX is pretty low. And tech sectors are generally pretty strong. I think QQQ is pretty strong. XLK, XSD are all pretty strong. So let's take a look at these guys pretty quickly. Right, you see QQQ holding up pretty well. Let's look at IWM, also holding up pretty well. TLT, a little bit of some bearish news. There are some bond auctions coming out today, so that might cause a little bit of volatility. And it looks like that what pulled the market down a couple of hours ago. I've also been taking a look at RSP. So there has certainly been some breadth weakness on this move down, but tech has been holding the market up. What could really change here? So we have this inside day right now in the market, and it's very unlikely that we're going to break it. We have major news pending tomorrow. The volume is pretty low. The action is pretty dull. Candles are pretty mixed. Lots of tails and wicks. We're not really going to go anywhere fast. So I don't want to take any swing longs. I don't want to take any overnight swings. There's no earnings time spreads that really set up well today. My only option is to find a great day trade. Luckily on these LPTE days, the good day trades usually set up later in the day. You have very strong stocks that look good in the first hour, 90 minutes, and then they'll start to die because the market starts to die. They'll pull back and they might make another shot at the high of the day. So entering some parabolic pullback. So let's look at a nice example of what could be a great setup. NVAX has gone parabolic. Maybe something like Billy. Yeah, so look at Billy. Billy's super nice move in the first 90 minutes, and now it's just compressing over here at the high of the day. Now, it still looks pretty good, but you can wait for this to pull back, and then we can get that next leg higher. Redfin here looked really nice in the first hour, made a nice double top. Now it's pulling back over here, so it's dying a little bit. A8 could be pretty good. It's formed this nice cup and handle formation if you use those, but I just like this higher low. We're sticking close to the high of the day. If we get this 1OP bullish cross and get the next leg up, I think A8 could be a pretty nice short. I'm personally very bullish on RTX. I like RTX a lot. This stock has been grinding higher. It's not too ahead of itself, and nice strong open, very strong D1 chart. So that's probably going to be my pick of the day. It's broken through a lot of support, a lot of resistance, and it's a pretty clear shot to 109, so there's lots of room on this chart. So RTX is probably going to be my pick of the day. I like these grinder stocks because they don't get too ahead of itself. And I'm just waiting for a good entry on this stock. I wanted it to come in a little bit, but 1OP is about to cross over here. So when I get this bullish cross on 1OP, I see RTX start to grind up. I'm going to be entering in this stock. Let's look at a couple of other picks here. MMM, another classic example of why you should wait. Looks super good in the morning, and it's giving back a lot of gains earlier today. Excuse me. It's Still could be pretty good, but it's pulled back so much. This is not the best pick that we can get. We can get a far better pick. You know, on a day like this, you only really need to get one great pick. Look at that, Baba. Really nice pick. That also easily can be pick of the day. We have earnings coming up. Super strong move, compressed. Broke through compression, made a new high of the day. So I like to see some nice follow through on this. Baba could easily be my pick of the day as well. Chinese stocks have been pretty strong. I like AA today. Yeah, a couple of nice picks here today. I think though I'm gonna go with RTX. I really like this grind up higher. Don't buy these big pop-ups. Get it close to the APMA, and then you will do pretty well. You'll do pretty well. So that's gonna be my pick of the day. RTX long, nice steady grinder. I'm gonna try to draw this channel here. Got a nice steady grinder here. Let's see if I can get something going. Quite hard to draw some of these channel lines here. Something like that could be the channel. This could be the channel as well. So hit this channel, compress for a while, and then pushing that higher. So yeah, something like that could be the channel. A bit hard to say. So yeah, wait for it to get to the bottom of the channel, and then you can get a nice move in on RTX. So that's our pick. We're gonna keep an eye out for CPI tomorrow, see what the reaction is. But yeah, we're keeping it light. We're keeping it short term right now, and depending on how the market reacts to the all-time high, we're gonna get ready for our next move, and we're gonna plan one step ahead. Thanks for listening, everyone, and I will catch you all in the next